wonder if you could rewrite your public narrative from scratch. Is there anything that you would do differently?
Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth.
You're very measured about it. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I'm such a hothead.
Are you? What's your sign?
I'm a Libra. But I know, and
Libras.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit, ghetto with it, like a little bit hood. I would just get so angry if I felt like everyone was lying about me all the time. Like, don't you ever feel like just being like, just leave me alone. Like, let me show you. Is there a part of you that ever is just like, just leave me alone?
Peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys.
No, I mean, like,
very elegant.
But it's true. Of course, I've gone through those chapters and you do a lot of work. You do a lot of self-work and go, what's the why? It's happening for a reason. And my dear friend Serena, who I'm sure you know.
I love Serena. She's like my girl crush. Talk about successful entrepreneur, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to go and talk about Serena Williams and how brilliant she is.
She said to me,
but look, she's literally...
At the end, where she said, if talking doesn't help me, I'm going to change my clothes. And I thought to myself, is that why she's done her trekking the other day and made us all feel quite unwell? That she's going to show off and wear things that she would never wear if you were dealing. That's the one with the dealing with the royal family. And she's just, now I'm going to show you. It's really extraordinary because there was every few lines, there's something that you didn't believe. I can't believe that you could actually say that. But there she does. I mean, I don't know. She says that her 2 children sell fruit and veg at the local market.
Oh, yes. And we will get to that, Angela. We will get to that because
but I mean,
we've
that's
got
another
the lowlights.
Did everybody take a photograph?
I know.
I mean, what?
I know. I mean, it's lie after lie after lie. But what really interests...
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the channel that isn't afraid to call out the rot at the heart of the British tabloid industry. If you're here for honest discussion, not recycled palace PR, then hit that subscribe button and join this growing community that values truth over gossip. Today, we have to talk about yet another vicious and ridiculous attack on Meghan Markle. And surprise, surprise, it's coming from none other than Angela Levin. Yes, the same Angela Levin who has made a career out of smearing Meghan at every opportunity. Her latest rant? An absurd claim that Meghan is bitter, jealous, and making up stories about her life. The desperation is getting embarrassing. Let's be honest here. Angela Levin is no royal expert. She's part of a dying breed of tabloid writers clinging to relevance by recycling tired attacks on Meghan. What we're seeing is not journalism. It's a smear campaign driven by prejudice, fear, and a desperate need for attention. Why the constant attacks? Because Meghan has done what so many in the royal media ecosystem fear most. She's built an independent life beyond the monarchy's control. She's used her voice, her platform, and her work to carve out her own identity, and that terrifies those who depend on the old, stale narratives to sell papers. One of Angela's latest absurd criticisms? That Meghan and Harry are raising their children to value humility and simple life experiences, like encouraging them to do things like sell fruit. Imagine thinking that fostering empathy, work ethic, and community engagement in children is a bad thing. But of course, for someone who thrives on elitism and outdated notions of privilege, anything that humanizes the royal family is a threat. That's what this is really about. Control. For generations, the monarchy and its media partners have dictated how royals are perceived. Meghan has disrupted that. She has reclaimed her voice, spoken her truth, and rejected the palace media machine. That's why figures like Angela Levin are in meltdown mode. They can no longer spin the story their way. And let's be crystal clear. The hate Meghan receives is steeped in racism and misogyny. She's not being attacked for her actions, but because she represents something they can't tolerate, a confident, biracial woman unwilling to be silent. Her independence and authenticity challenge the monarchy's outdated structure, and that is unacceptable to people like Angela Levin. At its core, this is about a crumbling institution trying to hang on to power. The monarchy's ability to shape public opinion is fading, especially among younger generations. People today crave authenticity, and Meghan embodies that. The old tabloid tricks no longer work like they used to, and every time Meghan speaks, that fact becomes even clearer. Angela's latest attack is part of a predictable cycle the moment Meghan steps forward with a project or message. Here come the hit pieces. Why? Because her voice threatens their narrative. Her presence in public life, open, honest, and unapologetic, reveals the hypocrisy of the system propping up the monarchy. And make no mistake, Angela Levin's bitterness reflects the anxiety of a dying media class. They know their grip on public opinion is slipping. Audiences are turning away from smear merchants and seeking voices that stand for integrity, compassion, and real leadership. That's why these desperate attacks have only one purpose now: to stir division, distract from the growing demand for modern, accountable institutions, and to cling to an image of monarchy that no longer resonates with the world. But honestly, it's not working. The public is waking up. People are demanding truth, transparency, and fairness, values that Meghan's life and work continue to champion. Now let's take a step back and really consider this. Why does someone like Angela Levin spend so much energy attacking Meghan? Because it's easy. Because it sells. Because there's an audience, dwindling as it may be, that feeds off these manufactured scandals. And that's the real tragedy here. Rather than evolve with the times, these so-called commentators choose to double down on hate, knowing full well the harm it causes. We also need to look at the media outlets that give Angela Levin a platform. The same tired tabloids that have been caught time and time again twisting the truth, editing out context, and inflaming tensions. They're complicit in this smear campaign because it fits their business model: sensationalism over substance, outrage over honesty. But here's the good news. The cracks are showing. Audiences, especially younger people, are moving away from these toxic tabloids. They're embracing platforms that value nuance, depth, and human dignity. Meghan represents that shift, and the panic from the old guard proves it. And it's not just Meghan they fear. It's the wider movement for change, for accountability, for institutions, whether royal, governmental, or media, to reflect the values of the people they claim to serve. Meghan is simply the convenient target they use to try and stem that tide. And what about the royal family itself? You have to wonder, what message does it send when their so-called allies in the press are allowed to relentlessly attack one of their own family members? Silence speaks volumes. The refusal to condemn these attacks says a great deal about the priorities of the firm. It's not about loyalty, it's about control. The royal family has long relied on a compliant press to maintain its image. Meghan and Harry broke that contract. They chose truth over subservience. And for that, the press, with mouthpieces like Angela Levin, have made them targets. And let's not forget that this pattern of attacks on Meghan mirrors a long history of how the British establishment deals with outsiders. Women who challenge tradition, people of color who refuse to be tokenized, anyone who dares to bring a new perspective to an old, closed-off institution. Meghan simply shone a light on this dynamic for a global audience to witness. We can't ignore how deeply rooted this media hostility is. Remember, even during her pregnancy, Meghan was relentlessly hounded. Unfair comparisons to other royals were drawn daily. Stories were manipulated, facts twisted, private moments violated, and when Meghan and Harry sought to protect their young family, they were painted as selfish or ungrateful. That's not journalism, that's a vendetta. Yet through it all, Meghan hasn't retaliated with bitterness or hostility. She's channeled her energy into positive projects, from charitable initiatives to, speaking engagements that promote social change. And every time she does, the attacks flare up again. Because nothing threatens the tabloid establishment more than a woman who not only survives their hatred, but honestly thrives in spite of it. This is also why Meghan resonates with so many people, especially women, and especially communities who've long been marginalized or misrepresented in the media. They see in her someone who understands that struggle, someone who refuses to be boxed in or diminished, someone who leads with empathy, intelligence, and purpose. That's leadership. And it's exactly why the old guard is so desperate to tear her down. They just cannot stand to see a new model of public life gaining ground. One based on service, not status. Truth, not spin. Authenticity, not performance. And it's worth asking, what has Angela Levin built? What has she contributed? Besides recycling the same tired smear narratives, where is her positive impact? What communities has she uplifted? The contrast is obvious, and the public is noticing.